What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadden, and typically on this channel what we do is we talk about the best lease deals in America. And today I want to switch it up and talk about the worst lease deal in America. At least it's the worst lease deal in America that I could find on the Jaguar F-Type. So what we'll do in this video is we'll head over to Jaguar's website and we'll kind of break down this lease deal. We'll talk about the mileage, we'll talk about the MSRP, and then in the second part of this video we'll actually talk about what makes this lease deal such a bad lease deal using my 1.25% rule of leasing. And then in the last part of this video, we'll compare financing this car to leasing this car, and we'll talk about the difference in monthly payment. But the purpose of this video is to help you determine when a lease deal is a bad deal. Like I said, I always talk about good lease deals, and in this video, I'm gonna show you why and what to look for in a bad lease deal. So if you could like this video or give it a thumbs up, and please be sure to follow or subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on Jaguar's website. As you can see, it's a 2024 Jaguar F-Type P450 Coupe rear wheel drive R dynamic. And right now you can lease this car for $1,499 a month. It's a 36-month lease that requires $7,495 due at signing. And just for reference, the finance offer is 3.9% for 12 to 60 months. And we'll talk about this a little bit later in the video. So let's go ahead and click on offer details. Now, as you can see, there's $7,495 due at signing, and that includes a $4,920 capitalized cost reduction. So that's essentially lowering the amount that you finance in your lease. So that's actually going towards lowering your lease payment. There is no security deposit on this particular lease. You have an acquisition fee of $1,075. And ladies and gentlemen, this is standard across just about every lease from every manufacturer, anywhere between $500 to $1,000. You know, you may be $1,100 or $1,200 on the more premium brands. And then you also see that the $7,500 that's due at signing also includes the first month's payment, but it excludes retailer fees, taxes, title, license, and registration fees. So here in the state of Washington, you're probably looking at about $7,500 down, and then an additional maybe $1,000 for registration, and maybe another $300 to $500 for dealer fees, making this total due at signing, I would say it's gonna be a minimum of $9,000 here in the state of Washington. Now you'll see that this lease allows for 30,000 miles over 36 months. And if you drive over that 30,000 miles, you will be charged 30 cents a mile. And ladies and gentlemen, it's usually cheaper to get a 12 or a 15,000 mile a year lease at the beginning of the lease if you know you're gonna drive that much, as opposed to paying this 30 cent a mile penalty. And you'll also see that this car has an MSRP of $84,925, and that will come into play when we do the 1.25% rule of leasing. And at the end of the lease term, the residual value on this particular Jaguar is $40,608, and that just means that you can buy this Jaguar for $40,608 at the end of the lease term. As you can see here, it says the lessee has the option to purchase vehicle for the residual value. And if you decide to keep this car, you will pay a turn-in fee of $495, which may apply. And this is pretty standard across the industry. Most manufacturers will charge anywhere between $300 to $700 in disposition fee, also known as a turn-in fee. All right, so we actually went over the lease details, and I hope you guys got some value from that. In this section of the video, what we're gonna do is talk about the 1.25% rule of leasing. And the 1.25% rule of leasing is just a rule of thumb that I use to determine whether or not a particular lease deal is a good value or not. And ladies and gentlemen, this Jaguar is not a good value, and I will explain why it is not in this part of the video. Now, to run the 1.25% rule of leasing, we're going to need my handy dandy calculator. And what I'm going to do actually is bust out the fine print, and let me open up the calculator again. And what we'll do is we'll take the amount due at signing, which is $7,495, and then we'll subtract the first month's payment, since that's included in the due at signing amount. And when I do that, I get $5,996. That's, due at signing. And I'll divide this by 36 months, or divide it by 36 since it's a 36-month lease. And what that does is it breaks down that due at signing amount into 36 equal parts, because I want to make this a $0 down lease. And then I'll add the monthly payment of $1,499 to this amount. and that gives me a pre-tax monthly payment with no money down of $1,665. Now this doesn't include sales tax, so I'll multiply this by 1.1 to account for 10% sales tax, and that's the sales tax rate here in the state of Washington and the city of Seattle where I live. Your sales tax rate might be lower, and when I do that, I get a monthly payment with nothing down, including taxes, of $1,832 a month. And ladies and gentlemen, when I divide this monthly payment by this vehicle's MSRP, which is $84,925, and I multiply this by 100 to move the decimal point over 2 spots, I get 2.15%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch any of my videos, you know this, that when your monthly payment with $0 down, including taxes, is less than 1.5% of the MSRP, that's a good deal. If it's less than 1.25% of the MSRP, that's a great deal. If your monthly payment is less than 1% of the MSRP, that's an amazing lease deal. And most of the lease deals, virtually every lease deal that I've covered on this channel, has been a sub 1.5% lease deal. And this lease deal is not only not under 1.5%, it's not even under 2%, it's actually sitting at 2.15%, which makes it one of the highest or one of the worst lease deals I've seen in terms of value. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this part of the video, I wanted to compare financing this car to leasing this car in terms of your monthly payment. And I used the same selling price, the MSRP of $84,925, a loan term of 60 months, an interest rate of 3.9%, and this is directly coming off of the Jaguar website. We have no down payment, and then we also included all fees in the loan, the sales tax rate of 10%, and I got a monthly payment to buy this car of $1,758. And ladies and gentlemen, if I were to lease this car, my monthly payment with $0 down, including taxes, is actually higher than the financing payment. And this is a 60-month loan, not even a 72-month loan. If I did the 72-month loan, my monthly payment would actually be lower. And my lease payment is $1,832 a month, and my finance payment is $1,758 a month. And now let's just be real. I mean, nobody's going to pay full MSRP for this car. You're at least going to get 10% off. So let's just make the selling price on this particular car. Let's just make it $76,925, right? Let's do $76,925, and then my monthly payment actually goes down to $1,596 a month versus $1,832 a month if I were to lease this particular car. Now, a lot of you ask me all the time, Ravi, when does it make sense to not lease a car? When should I not lease a car? And this is a prime example. Here for a 60-month loan, I have a lower monthly payment than if I were to lease this car. And ladies and gentlemen, your lease payments should be at least lower than your finance payment if you're doing a 72-month loan. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense at all. And that's why I have the 1.5, 1.25, and 1% rule. Well, with that, I'm going to call it a video. Let me know what you guys think about this Jaguar lease deal, and let me know if you found this video to be helpful, because I can do other videos like it. It's not helpful to just talk about good and great lease deals all the time. It also makes sense to do the counter and talk about bad lease deals and lease deals that you should avoid, because my goal is to help you, the consumer, make the right financial decision when it comes to purchasing or leasing your next car. Now, if you guys have any questions, please be sure to drop them in the comment section below. But with that, I'm going to call it a video. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.